Hi everyone, this is Karen for Picket Studios, and today I have created this card using the new December release. This is the stamp set called A Walk in the Park, and you can also get the coordinating dies. My sentiments are from the new stamp More for a Walk in the Park, and it also has the matching dies. Let's start. I will stamp this large image using the new Mini Misty and Black Hybrid ink from Picket Studios. On top, I stamp two small animals. They are very small, so I didn't need to mask. Additionally, I stamp some of the people from the stamp set. As you can see, I am using the new Mini Misty here. Let's jump into coloring now. I will start with the brushes using Copic markers, and I'm using YG76, YG17 and YG21. So I start with the lightest, which is YG21, and this is like my base color for all the brushes and trees. This is also my favorite color combination for coloring trees, bushes, everything that it has to do with nature. Next, I'm using YG17, that is my middle shade. This color adds more definition to the brushes. Also, I usually add my color from the lightest to the darkest. I really loved how easy it was to color these trees and bushes. The size of them were perfect to add different shades of greens and create shadows. Now I will add the YG76 to get a better definition of the shadows. I'm going back to my lightest marker YG21 and I start blending a little bit. I'm speeding the process a little bit so the video won't take too long. And this is the exact way how I colored all the bushes and trees on this background. I'm putting more of the YG17 now, and then I will add some shadows using the YG67. I'm applying the YG76 now, and you can leave this like that, but I'm going to add another layer of color to create even more definition. I go back to the YG17 and I also blend it with the YG76. Now you can see how the layers and dimension are being built up. Let's go back to the YG21 and blend those edges with the YG17. This is going to be the last layer of color, and the YG21 will also highlight the brighter areas on those brushes. The brushes are ready now, so let's color the tree. Again, I will start with the YG21 and going from the lightest color to my YG76, which is my darkest one. Let's move to my next color now, which is YG17. I'm applying YG76 for those shadows now. After coloring with the YG76, I will add the YG21 and start blending colors. Let's go back to the YG70 marker. Now it's time to add more definition to those darker areas using the YG76 marker. Finally, I'm gonna blend all those colors with the YG21 and this tree will be ready. To color those bushes at the back of this seam, I did the same process. I added the highlights and the darker areas, following the same steps as I did with the tree and the first bushes. So I will let you see the whole process and I'll be back soon. I'm back now and I'm going to color the grass. I'm going to be using YG21, which is my lightest color of the greens. I'm going to add just a little bit of shadow here with the YG17 and then I'm gonna blend it with the YG21. Okay, let's finish coloring the trees here using E13 and E15. Also, I decided to color the bench. And the first copy color that I'm using is E13. Using E15, I'm adding some shadows to the bench and to the trees now. Let's jump to the darkest color, that is E18. Now it's time to blend the E18 with the E15. And my last copy marker will be E11. As you can see, there's a second bench here in the background, and I color it the same exact way. Now, to color the floor from this park, I'm using W0, W2 and W4. I started with W4, which is my darkest color, to cover those small areas that are far in this image. Also, I added this color to places where you get some shadows. Then, using W2, I color more area from the floor, and I blend it with W4. Finally, I cover the whole area with my lightest color, W0, and blended all those colors together. By the way, the trash can was colored off camera using R14, R17, R29, and 4, and this was a very basic Copic coloring. Let's color the sky now. I ended up using more color than you can see here. I began coloring with Y000 all around the bushes. Now I'm adding Y11 and I'm covering most part of the sky. Let's jump to Y02 now, and I'm applying this color from top to half of the sky only. I go back to Y11 and I will blend Y02 with Y11. To get rid of those harsh lines, I add now the Y000. Okay, it's time for Y06 and I start applying this color from the top of the panel. Now I'm moving to Y15 and I have already several layers of color in the sky. And here comes one of my darkest copy colors, Y35. For an even darker shade of color here, I'm adding Y38 at the very top of the sky. I go back to Y15 and blend a little bit these colors. Then I apply another layer of Y06 and at the same time I blend those colors. I go back to my lightest color, which is Y00 now. At the top of the panel, I apply Y38 horizontally along with Y35 to blend and disappear harsh lines. Next, I apply Y15 and Y17. This was an additional Copic color that I decided to use here in this sky. And from here, my last layers of colors will go from dark to light until I get to Y000. With each layer of color, I get a better definition of this sky. And finally, I get to Y000. But I decided to give this sky a last layer of dark color at the top using Y38. And this way our sky is ready now. I have also stamped off-screen the sentiments "We miss you" and "Big hugs" from the stamp set "More for a Walk in the Park." In addition, I colored and die-cut the people I stamped at the beginning of this video. And using glue, I place all of them on top of this panel. Next, I color around the edges of each die cut using the same colors from the background, so they look as if they have been masked. This is a good way to get rid of that white border around your dies. I colored the border of the other die cuts the same way and using the matching colors from the background. I also added some shadows where it was needed. And now this card is finished. This was a bit of a long video. I tried to make it short, and thank you so much for watching it. See you next time.